So I had what could quite possibly be the worst ever acid reflux on earth. It was it was excruciating, and it snuck on me out of nowhere. So I'm going to show you what I did to fix it and how you can go about the same thing. And the first time I got acid reflux was probably when I was a kid. It was probably like heartburn or something like that. You know, it lasted for a day. I guess it doesn't really count as acid reflux, but at the beginning of this year, at the very beginning, I had, oh boy, I had a flu for 2 weeks. Then I had like mold infestation. Then I had a flu for a week. And then acid reflux came. And I'm like, oh, okay. I Googled it. And it was like, this can come from having the flu because it does something where like you get the like acid sucked up or whatever when you have the flu. I don't know. In reality, it could have been from the mold. It could have been from me being hit twice. Like, it could have been anything. And what followed this was something which aggravated it. I started every single day having the most delicious thing in the entire world. I would get a pork shoulder. I would put so many spices on it, like a beautiful collection of spices that go together perfectly. And I would slow cook this for literally hours until it was black. And it'd be the most incredible thing ever. And I'd put it in like a tortilla with like some sour cream or some cheese or some lettuce. And it would be so, so good. But it was very, very fatty. So it aggravated this. And also the acidity of it, because it had like pineapple, I think, in or something. It was either pineapple or lemon or something like that, but it was like very acidic, and so it proceeded to get worse and worse. And I would go to workouts and it would literally wipe me out because I just feel it coming up. And honestly, for maybe the past 6 months, like I've been suffering with this for half a year. That is a long time. But I would just get like, if I ate or anything which could trigger that sort of thing, I'd be like mini burping, like to myself, where I could feel the discomfort. You can believe I tried a lot of things to fix this. The first thing I tried was really reducing that fat, which is fine because I didn't reduce it to like hypergonadal levels. I care about my hormones. I just dropped it enough for where I knew it wasn't going to aggravate. And in honesty, this did work, but it would be offset by a day where I was like, eating out, or I had something different than usual, which would completely derail it again. It was super annoying because one of the things, like one of my treats, is this incredible burger I make, which is like 20% beef fat mince in butter, and then, cheese stacked upon it in a way where it melts, and it's so nice. But the problem there is, again, it was really fatty. I had to completely cut this out, and I switched to chicken burgers, and it was just something where no matter what, I was going to suffer from it. And I really, really struggled. Maybe, I would always try and look up ways to fix it, having some melon or something, but nothing was really fixing it. It was almost like it was just relieving symptoms. I also took antacids for a little, antacids, I'm not sure which one it is, for a little, and that seemed to contribute in some way to do something. But man, it was a really difficult time, and nothing really fixed it. And it was so confusing because obviously this isn't something I've had in the past. So I'm kind of like, is it because of my bulk? Is it because I'm like too high body fat? I mean, it's a possibility, but I could never really figure out what it was. And if I was like, if it is because of my body fat, I'm pushing through to 100. I don't care. I have goals. And so it was something where, I was trying my best. I really was. And I knew that maybe the cause was gut health, so I would do research into gut health. The amount of Andrew Huberman videos or like, stuff I watched involving that. Like, I tried a lot of stuff. And then out of the blue one day, I was watching Brian Johnson and his whole like, dark chocolate stuff. And I'm like, I should just start taking dark chocolate. This was completely unrelated to, gut health or like acid reflux. But I was like, I should start taking, dark chocolate. And so on one day, I'm like, okay, we're gonna get a punnet of strawberries, a square of dark chocolate, and we're gonna eat it. And alongside that, when I was shopping, I saw something called Kefir, which is like cultured milk. It's like, good gut health milk. And I'd seen something. There was some sponsored post on Twitter about gut health, and someone commented, "Just drink kefir, it's better." And so I was like, oh, I'll try this out. And so on that day, I started doing those 3 habits. The punnet of strawberries, which has, packed with nutrients. The dark chocolate square, were about, like 8 ounces, I think. 20 grams. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's an ounce. And the kefir, like 250 milliliters. I didn't realize it until about a week later, but my acid reflux was gone. I just hadn't noticed because it disappeared. And I was happy, man. And then I realized that it disappeared when I started doing this thing, and nothing else had changed in my lifestyle. So that was complete BS. If I'm gonna be real, I started taking cold showers like every single day. So I guess that is a change. But other than that, nothing had changed. Like my stress management was the same, unless you count like changes in like the cold shower, because acid reflux can be tied to stress. But I've also been like super duper stressed more than usual recently, in like a way where it's like messing with my sleep, and yet the acid reflux hasn't come back. So I'm going to side with it being the dietary changes, which is really interesting. Because there was a day where in one meal I ordered in because I felt like treating myself. I know, my bad, I'm sorry. And the meal I got had 210 grams of fat. Now, for context, previously anything above 100 grams of fat in a day would leave me absolutely wrecked the next few days. And I was completely fine the next day. And I was like, oh, okay, so something has changed. It wasn't like I conveniently had like low fat days or something. Like, this intervention has resulted in me basically curing my acid reflux. And yeah, if I have high fat days now, even if I'm having high fat days like in the evening, it's completely fine. I've completely reversed something which had plagued me for 6 months, and that is an incredibly like freeing feeling. It's super good because it coincides with my birthday month, so I'm pretty chuffed about that. But I can't wait to see how things go without this disease, because it was something that was absolutely awful to me, and apparently it can cause like esophagus cancer. So I'm glad I'm like avoiding that now, unless I've really developed it. But I hope you implement these things. The punnet of fruit. It can be strawberries, it can be raspberries. I'd rather go with strawberries just because it's a bit lower in calorie, and they are absolutely amazing. I literally have 450 grams. And then a square of dark chocolate, or 2 squares, just an ounce, 20 grams or so. And the kefir, like 250 milliliters. Make sure it's good. Make sure all of this is good quality. I mean, obviously, if you're trying to cure something like this, start quite low. I'm certain there's tons of other benefits from this, so even if you don't have acid reflux, implement it. But start at a level you're like okay with, and then move up. Of course, each of the things have their own set of different levels. Within dark chocolate, you have like 90% or like 70 to 90% level 1, and then level 2 is like 100%, and then level 3 is like 100% heavy metals tested, and then there's like different levels. And then within strawberry, you have like your organic produce. You have, I don't even know, you have like them being washed just under the tap by like good water, which is probably one thing. You also have where it's sourced from. Is it direct from the farmer? Is it stored in like some weird plastic thing from the store? And then with kefir, you probably have a lot of things. There's probably like the bottle it's kept in, the place it's made in, the amount of like bacteria involved, the bacteria themselves, and like all that things listed. And I will come up with some levels for that.